Chapter 1081 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng had roamed the universe for close to 100,000 years. This was his first time meeting other golden horned beasts, and one time he met over 10 of them. Brother. Welcome back, brother. The 10 golden horned beasts swiftly flew closer, at the same time their powerful voices resounded. Brother wandering the universe, welcome home. Golden horned Luo Feng could only welcome them with Zhen. Zhen immediately roared, I've already received orders to bring him here. Since your golden horned beasts are here, I'll leave him to you. Go. Leave it to us. Leave everything to us. The 10 golden horned beast warriors all said. Zhen nodded and smiled at Luo Feng, after which he became a beam of light and flew away. And golden horned Luo Feng was surrounded by 10 golden horned beasts. This group of golden horned beasts were all very passionate. They had all roamed the universe alone for eons before being accepted into the alliance. Hence, towards every member of the same race that had just returned, the seniors would always be very sincere and passionate. I'm Fan Knight. I'm Shan Wen Knight. I'm Su Jin Knight. Their names were all different. After all, every golden horned beast had their own unique experiences. Wandering the universe, they had long given themselves names. The normal knight titles were all different too. Golden horned Luo Feng faced the passion of this group of golden horned beasts. He could only say, I'm Gold Peak Knight. Haha, Gold Peak Knight, welcome home. Reaching the universe knight level for the first time to return to the alliance, it's already very rare. To be able to train to the universe knight level alone, Gold Peak Knight, my brother, your talent is really strong. With the alliance's help, you'll definitely become stronger. Golden horned Luo Feng occasionally spoke beside, however within he really liked the atmosphere. These golden horned beasts were naturally cold and bloodthirsty, however this bloodthirst was only towards other races. Meeting other space beasts, they would feel a sense of closeness. When meeting their own race, they would feel a sense of closeness from their bloodlines. Legend has it that the Space Beast Alliance is very mysterious. Internally they are extremely united. No wonder. Golden horned Luo Feng sighed within. They've been alone for too long. Meeting their own race, they naturally treat them like family. Go, go, go. Even the universe lords are getting impatient. Stop it. Let's hurry back. Over 10 golden horned beasts brought golden horned Luo Feng. In space, this large group of golden horned beasts roared amongst themselves, simultaneously flying towards the distant Astral God Mountain. Golden horned Luo Feng and the other 10 golden horned beasts flew through the air, at the same time worried. According to what Na Zhen said, there's nowhere to hide in the starry sky God Mountain. Won't I be discovered? However, Luo Feng also understood that this was the Space Beast Alliance's greatest being, the primogenitor's territory. He could no longer retreat. Sovereign Su Jin. As the golden horned beast flew, it asked, which universe lord is it that wants to see me? There are a few universe lords who are curious about you, but the first ones you'll meet are of course the 2 universe lords of the golden horned beast lineage, the golden horned master and the whirlwind master. 2. Golden horn Luo Feng was shocked. My golden horned beast bloodline is extremely powerful. Of the 12 peak bloodlines, each bloodline only has 1 universe lord. And our golden horned beast lineage has 2. Venerable Sale said proudly, the golden horn master is the most ancient master of the universe of our golden horn lineage, while the master of annihilation is a new master of the universe. He became a master of the universe 1,000 epochs ago. Golden horned Luo Feng listened obediently. They chatted as they flew, flying at 100 times the original universe's light speed, very quickly arriving at the vast and endless Astral God Mountain. Astral God Mountain. Golden horned Luo Feng looked carefully, only to find that the rocks of this endless mountain range were completely pitch black. It wasn't black, but a feeling similar to a black hole. Almost as though every rock was a black hole, this astral god mountain was extremely vast, separated into many regions. There were many huge shrines built, much larger than the human shrines. Space ripples. Golden-horned Luo Feng felt space ripples for the first time. We can teleport to places with space ripples. This is the primogenitor's way of allowing us to swiftly travel to different places. However, many important places don't have space ripples. Double quote. Follow me. Head to the Golden-horned Master's shrine. These 10 golden-horned beast warriors passionately guided them as they flew within the Astral God Mountain. One had to know that the Astral God Mountain was a few light years tall. Even the size of the golden-horned beast was like an earthworm on a sun. Sometimes teleporting, sometimes advancing. After about 6 minutes, they finally arrived at an incomparably majestic palace carved with countless golden-horned beast carvings. This palace was over 100 million km tall, emitting an endless pressure. Luo Feng immediately determined this should be a flying palace-type treasure. This is the Golden-horned Master's flying palace treasure. It's extremely powerful. Fan Knight said. Let's go, enter. In the plaza before the palace, there were a few undying level golden-horned beasts flying about, playing with each other. When they saw golden-horned Luo Feng flying over, they all looked curiously at him. One had to know that there were very few golden-horned beasts in the entire Star Alliance. They recognized almost all of them, however they didn't recognize the one brought by the 10 golden-horned beast warriors. Don't tell me this is his first time returning to the Alliance. He was just brought in. His body's energy is so strong, even stronger than many universe warriors. The undying golden-horned beasts all discussed softly. And Fan Knight and Su Jin Knight led Luo Feng directly to the entrance of the palace. Even though this was the Golden-horned Master's palace, there were no guards. Enter, my child. A powerful voice resounded. Golden-horned Luo Feng felt his bloodline tremble and submit. He knew this voice was from the Golden-horned Master. The Golden-horned Master was the most ancient universe lord of the Golden-horned beast bloodline. It was normal for him to call a returning member of his race child. After all, Luo Feng was countless eras later than him. Enter. Let's go. Fan Knight and the others along with golden-horned Luo Feng, their 4 hooves strode forward, entering the vast shrine. Their pace was very fast. Every second they flew over 1,000,000 km, flying straight to the center of the shrine and stopping. Greetings Golden-horned Master, Annihilation Master. Fan Knight and the other 10 golden-horned beast warriors said respectfully. Greetings Golden-horned Master, Annihilation Master. Golden-horned Luo Feng too shouted respectfully, after which he raised his head. Looking at the highest point of the shrine there stood a majestic golden-horned beast with huge scaled wings. This was a terrifying being with an aura like the endless universe, gazing down at Luo Feng. On the left, stood a golden-horned beast covered in dark red armor. On top of the 5 horns, there was an extra long golden horn in the middle. As it gazed down at Luo Feng, its eyes were filled with endless whirlpools, almost as though the universe had been annihilated. Annihilation Master. Luo Feng immediately determined that the dark red armored golden-horned beast was the new universe lord, the Annihilation Lord. Fan Knight, you all leave first. The golden-horned master gazed down and said slowly. Yes. The 10 golden-horned beast warriors all retreated respectfully and flew away. The only ones left in the shrine were golden-horned Luo Feng below and the 2 universe lords above, golden-horned master and Annihilation Master. What a powerful god body. The golden-horned master gazed below and exclaimed, his voice majestic, I didn't expect you to reach such a level while roaming the universe alone. Comparable to many universe lords. The Annihilation Master's voice was gentler. Golden-horned Luo Feng listened obediently. From the surface, it was impossible to tell that Luo Feng was undying. Firstly, his god body was indeed strong, and secondly, the space laws were the upper laws of metal, wood, water, fire and earth. Even if he was a space knight, his god body could easily manifest any of the 5 elements, and he could manifest the complete space. And the golden horned beasts usually manifested the gold element in their space energy. To be able to reach this level alone, you are very outstanding. The golden horned master gazed below, his eyes filled with a smile. I've discussed with the other universe lords, we'll provide you with special training. Under the Alliance's training, you have a high chance of stepping into the universe lord level. Double quote. Ha ha ha. On the left, the Annihilation Master laughed too, gazing at Luo Feng. If you step into the universe lord level, our golden horned beast bloodline will have 3 universe lords, and we'll be ranked number 1 among the 12 bloodlines like the Mountain Ravine Beast bloodline. Mountain Ravine Beast, one of the 12 pinnacle bloodlines. Luo Feng listened obediently, sighing within. If I didn't have any strong warriors nurturing me to reach this level, then with the Space Beast Alliance's careful nurturing, I would indeed have a high chance of becoming a universe lord. No wonder the Space Beast Alliance valued him so much. It was a pity, he indeed had the ability and hope of reaching the universe lord level. However, he was a human, not a golden horned beast. Space God Mountain has many inheritances and countless treasures. Raise your bloodlines. God Body Vibration Technique. Soul Vibration Technique. Anything is possible. The Golden Horned Master gazed at Luo Feng, and the envoy and general inheritances of the ancestral god sect, even the beast god inheritance, are naturally there too. In fact, the Divine General's inheritance is just a set of special secret techniques with great power compared to some amplification secret techniques. Double quote. Luo Feng understood. Just like the Demon Note inheritance, it was formed from 2 aspects. One of them was a soul amplifying secret technique, and the other was a demonic sound technique. Actually, the Great Alliance too had the God Body and Soul Vibration techniques. The only thing was that they required contribution points to exchange. Luo Feng's current contribution points were definitely enough. The only thing was that training required a long period of time, hence Luo Feng decided to first acquire the 4th black metal board before returning to learn. The Golden Horned Master and Annihilation Masters suddenly turned their heads and looked at each other. Golden Horned Luo Feng felt something amiss too. He looked up at the 2 universe lords. Child, the primogenitor ordered me to personally meet you. The Golden Horned Master's powerful voice resounded. Simultaneously he took a step forward and walked down from the throne. Chapter 1082 Swallowed Star. Meet the Ancestor. Luo Feng was really shocked. The reason why the 9 great powers of the universe could be called that was because they had the strongest warriors in the universe. Like the creator of the huge axe, even though Luo Feng was from the human race, he had never met or spoken to him before. The only person he had seen who was the strongest in the universe was Mountain Guest. And now he wanted to meet the strongest warrior of the Space Beast Alliance. Rumble the Golden Horned Lord's 4 hooves stepped on the ground, seemingly slow, but he had already arrived beside Luo Feng. Don't worry, don't be afraid. The Golden Horned Lord looked at Luo Feng with a warm gaze. Our Space Beast Alliance has many knights, but most of them have never met the Ancestor. For you to be able to meet him personally the moment you were brought back, this is also your fortune. Double quote. Whirlwind Destruction Lord walked down too. If the Ancestor values you, then the resources you'll receive will be much, much more. In our Star Alliance, the Ancestor's authority is the highest. I'm just a little afraid. Luo Feng roared softly. It'd be weird if you weren't afraid. Let's go. The Golden Horned Lord immediately controlled the surrounding space to bind Luo Feng. after which he became a beam of light and flew out. Beside him Whirlwind Destruction Lord too flew out. Flying, teleportation, flying. The Golden Horned Lord and Whirlwind Destruction Lord led Luo Feng, spending close to 20 minutes to reach the peak of the starry sky god mountain. The entire peak of the mountain actually had an independent mountain peak. This mountain peak was over 100 million km tall. It seemed illusory. At first glance it seemed illusory, but on closer inspection it seemed real. Especially this independent mountain peak had countless beast carvings, almost including the different races of the space beasts. At the foot of this independent mountain peak, there were a total of 12 space beast knights standing guard. These 12 space beasts were the 12 pinnacle bloodlines. Golden Horned Lord, Whirlwind Destruction Lord. These 12 guards bowed respectfully, simultaneously automatically opening up a path. Obviously they had received orders from the ancestor long ago. The Golden Horned Lord and Whirlwind Destruction Lord walked ahead, Luo Feng followed behind, following a mountain path upwards. This is the Primogenitor Mountain. The Golden Horned Lord said slowly, it's also an extremely terrifying absolute treasure. It is very scary. Golden Horn Luo Feng too felt the pressure. This Primogenitor Mountain's pressure was simply too strong, causing his 4 legs to go soft. However, it made sense, a treasure used by the strongest warrior of the universe, naturally its power was overwhelming. Even if it was not as good as the Star Tower, it would only be slightly weaker. Xiao Chen believed that it would definitely be stronger than Qian Bao. The reason why he was certain that it was stronger than Qian Bao was purely because of Luo Feng's intuition. He was already a strong warrior, at least when the treasure released its pressure, he could determine the strength of the treasure. They walked along the mountain path. In the Primogenitor Mountain, you must follow this mountain path. Otherwise, you will be attacked by the Primogenitor Mountain. Even a simple attack from the Primogenitor Mountain can easily annihilate a universe paragon. Therefore, you cannot barge in without permission. The Golden Horn Master pointed and advanced. Soon, they arrived at the depths of the Primogenitor Mountain that was hundreds of millions of kilometers tall. Primogenitor. Primogenitor. The Golden Horn Master and the Annihilation Master lowered their heads respectfully at the same time to show their respect. Primogenitor? Golden Horn Luo Feng didn't even see it. Looking carefully at the distant surroundings, only then did he see an illusory and soft body slowly appear. Simultaneously, a huge head extended out from the depths of the mountain. This head was similar to a dragon's head, only there were a total of 9 horns on it. The 9 horns revolved around the head, almost like a crown. Just this head alone was a few thousand km long. At the same time, in the distant mountain forest, a part of a claw that was not real or fake could be seen. Golden Horn Luo Feng could clearly see that the claw had a total of 9 claws. Even though the entire body of the Primogenitor was only half a claw, one could still deduce that it was at least tens of thousands of km long. Greetings Primogenitor. Golden Horn Luo Feng lowered his head. The Primogenitor's eyelids lifted slightly. His gaze seemed to pierce through everything. Looking at Golden Horn Luo Feng, a voice that seemed to resonate from every inch of space resounded, "This is the rare genius of our Space Beast Alliance." "Yes." Annihilation Master said respectfully. Primogenitor. The Golden Horn Master raised his head. He was much more casual. "This child has just been brought back and his body is already this strong. It's extremely rare. And the news from Flame Star earlier, this child was able to acquire the Sword River Net part from the Primal Star. Even though we don't care about that part. But it also reflects his capabilities. Hahaha, I believe our golden horned beast race will soon produce the 3rd Universe Lord." Double quote. Golden Horn Luo Feng lowered his head beside Sword River Net part. He had already exchanged it for the 9 Nether River treasure. You two return first. The Primogenitor ordered. Yes. Annihilation Master replied. The Golden Horn Master was immediately overjoyed. Primogenitor, you have to personally nurture him. He's a rare genius of our golden horned beast race, don't try to fool us. HM. The primogenitor replied. The Golden Horn Master was immediately overjoyed. The Golden Horn Master simultaneously turned to look at Luo Feng, ordering, Gold Peak, the primogenitor wants to nurture you. This is your fortune, make good use of it. Yes. Golden Horn Luo Feng listened obediently. Let's go. The Golden Horn Master and Annihilation Master immediately followed the mountain path and left. Deep in the mountains, the primogenitor's body was faintly discernible. That huge head gazed down at Golden Horn Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood obediently beside. To be able to kill the Ghost Blade Knight, not bad. The primogenitor said. Luo Feng understood that the absolute space was completely due to the primogenitor changing the universe laws. Naturally nothing could escape the primogenitor's eyes. He immediately said respectfully, Luck. Human, you don't think you can hide from me? The primogenitor's voice resounded throughout every inch of space. He was indeed recognized. Indeed an absolute genius that only appears once in a trillion eras. The primogenitor said slowly, Luo Feng, you are a human, not a member of our space beasts. Naturally you can't be like the other space beasts and obtain our resources. Luo Feng understands. Golden Horn Luo Feng immediately entered the world ring. Simultaneously the Moshe clansman appeared. Believing that he had the Moshe clansman, the primogenitor had long known about the control of the absolute space. Luo Feng returned to his human form and bowed respectfully. Human Luo Feng greets the primogenitor. Luo Feng unintentionally fell into danger and was unable to escape. He could only drift about and was brought here. It wasn't on purpose to hide from the primogenitor. When Luo Feng was weak, he tried to possess the golden horned beast. I hope the primogenitor will forgive me. Back then when your home was forced into a desperate situation by the golden horned beast, it was your luck to be possessed. You coming here indeed wasn't your intention. I won't care about any of this. The primogenitor said slowly. Actually before becoming undying, whether the space beasts were enslaved or possessed, the Alliance wouldn't care. Only the undying beasts would be brought here. Luo Feng was shocked within. The matter of Earth and the golden horned beast, very few humans knew about it. How did the primogenitor of the Space Beast Alliance know about it? Your arrival here wasn't a coincidence. It was arranged by your teacher Mountain Traveler. The primogenitor said slowly. Luo Feng was stunned. Mountain Traveler? Mountain Traveler values you even more than his second disciple, Flame Emperor. The primogenitor said slowly. He specially invited me to open up the Space Beast Alliance's important grounds to you. There's no need to thank me. There's always a price to pay. Everything is equal. Your teacher Mountain Traveler has long paid the price. Luo Feng completely understood. Everything was indeed Mountain Traveler's doing. You walk the Beast God bloodline. And in the entire vast universe, the one who nurtures the absolute warriors of the Beast God bloodline, is none other than me? The primogenitor said slowly. As for the ancestral God sect, in terms of nurturing the Beast God bloodline, we've only scratched the surface. Our space beasts are the true descendants of the Beast God. What? Luo Feng was shocked. Descendants? Actually back then the golden horned beast was able to easily absorb so many blood river crystals. Even after training the 9-level manuals, the crystal's functions could be fully utilized. This had long made Luo Feng suspicious. Now hearing the primogenitor of the Space Beast Alliance speak, the space beasts were actually descendants of the Beast God. My God, a huge secret. This was definitely one of the top secrets of the universe. My Space Beast Alliance's most important treasure land will be open to you. Even if I don't say it, you'll understand. The primogenitor gazed at Luo Feng. However, don't think it's simple. Your teacher has already set a requirement for you. If you can't reach it, you'll be trapped there forever. Luo Feng blinked. Mountain Traveler's requirement is very high, to the point that it can even be considered ridiculous. The primogenitor gazed at Luo Feng. I believe you have no way of reaching your teacher's requirement. Even after 1 trillion years, you won't succeed. Luo Feng frowned. These words were said by the primogenitor. Who was the primogenitor? The strongest warrior in the universe. The strongest warrior in the universe knew how many miracles Luo Feng had created. Even though he knew Luo Feng had trained for less than 100,000 years, he still dared to say such words. Obviously, Mountain Traveler's requirement was unbelievably high. I even made a bet with him. If you can succeed within 100,000 eras, I'll give you the most suitable set of treasures for the Beast God bloodline. If you fail, your teacher will lose an absolute treasure to me. The primogenitor gazed at Luo Feng. I can feel the fighting spirit and confidence in your eyes. I also know you're good at creating miracles. However, when you see your teacher's requirement, you'll understand what despair is. I even believe you'll be trapped there forever. Unless you self-destruct and give up everything to leave. However, if you self-destruct and leave, it'll naturally be considered a failure. The primogenitor said. Luo Feng clenched his fists tightly and endured. Just watch. Even if you're the primogenitor, the strongest warrior in the universe, you actually dare say I won't succeed within 100,000 eras, you're underestimating me. However, just what kind of test did Mountain Traveler teacher set for him, to actually have such a huge bet with the Space Beast primogenitor? The Space Beast primogenitor's bet was an absolute treasure set. Mountain Traveler teacher even used an absolute treasure to bet. Go on in. I believe you won't succeed within 100,000 eras. The primogenitor's voice resounded throughout every inch of space. The black-clothed Luo Feng who was originally standing there vanished into thin air. Chapter 1083 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng felt the time flow change, almost like he was passing through the universe pathway to the primal universe. Hua. Everything around him became clear. This is. Luo Feng looked ahead. The trees and flowers here were tall and majestic. The ancient trees were all over 100 kilometers tall. Su. Luo Feng broke through the air and flew above the forest, surveying his surroundings from there. With a glance, this vast forest was a plain in the distance. With Luo Feng's field of vision, he could only see the forest and the plain. Both the forest and the plain had huge statues. These were the statues of the legendary 8 great natural beast gods. Furthermore, there were many statues of each innate beast deity. Some were sleeping, some were roaring, some were frolicking. Different styles of natural beast god statues, and every one of them emitted pressure, almost like the real beast gods had appeared. Where is this? The Space Beast Alliance primogenitor said he wanted to open the Space Beast Alliance's important grounds to me. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. Is this their important grounds? Not right. Time flow. Luo Feng's face was filled with shock. He had just connected with his Earth body's consciousness and swiftly felt the huge difference in the time flow between them. The difference was so huge that it shocked Luo Feng. In the actual universe, there was only 1 second, however in this land and space Luo Feng was in, it was a full 10,081 seconds. Meaning to say, the time flow ratio had reached an exaggerated 10,081. How can this be? The time ratio is actually this exaggerated. Luo Feng couldn't believe it, meaning to say that after 10,000 years here, only 1 year has passed in the actual universe. Even our human race's treasures like the Time Palace, normally only allow time to be sped up by a few times, tens of times. Double quote. Treasures like the Time Palace were normally created by the universe lords who had completely comprehended the space and time laws. The Temple of Time he created was actually a place for cultivation, but the flow of time here was much faster. Training within for 10 years, only 1 month had passed in the outside world. However, according to what Luo Feng knew, the Time Palace was extremely expensive. Normally 10 or 100 times acceleration was normal, 1000 times acceleration was already astronomical. 10,000 times acceleration, at least the human race didn't have such a time palace. Luo Feng. An ancient voice resounded throughout the land and skies. Luo Feng fiercely turned his head. In the distance, a black cloud flew over, emitting a pressure that could suppress the entire world. When the black cloud neared, it actually transformed into a golden horned beast, and then transformed again, turning into a human, a white-robed old man with 9 horns on his head. Ancestor. Luo Feng hesitated. This is one of my clones. You're in a universe that belongs to the Star Behemoth Alliance. Another universe. Luo Feng was shocked. While chatting with Zhen, he already knew that the Astral Beast Alliance had a universe. Actually, Luo Feng could accept it. After all, the Space Beast Alliance was on par with the Great Alliance. Since the human race had a primal universe, it wasn't strange for the Space Beast Alliance to have a universe as well. And this is the Beast God world of the universe. The primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. It's a place specially for nurturing the Beast God warriors. Beast God realm. Luo Feng looked at this vast and boundless world. The Beast God statues were filled with immense pressure, much stronger than the statue Hiroda left behind back then. This is the most important place of the Astral Beast Alliance. Even the geniuses of the Alliance rarely get the chance to enter. Your teacher Mountain Passenger is pretty generous, coming personally to ask for my help. The primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. However, I believe you won't succeed within 100,000 eras. 100,000 eras in the Beast God world, only 100,000 years have passed in the actual universe. The primogenitor smiled. 1 era per year, you probably haven't seen it before. Yes. Luo Feng was indeed very respectful of such methods. May I ask what request teacher Mountain Passenger left behind? Luo Feng asked. What request do I have to reach before I can leave? The request is very simple. The primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. Defeat me and you can leave. Defeat you? Luo Feng's eyes stared wide open. Defeat the Space Beast Alliance's primogenitor? Defeat the strongest warrior in the universe. What a joke. I will maintain the same level of strength as your god body. The primogenitor smiled at Luo Feng. My body is as strong as yours. As long as you defeat me who has the same body, you can leave. How is that possible? Luo Feng shook his head. You are the strongest warrior in the universe. Your techniques are unbelievable. Even the Universe Lord wouldn't be able to do it. Not just the Universe Lord, even the strongest warrior in the universe wouldn't be able to do it. Double quote. Right, even the Universe Lord wouldn't be able to do it. The primogenitor smiled at Luo Feng. However, the strongest warrior in the universe would be able to do it, because this is just a clone of mine. It can at most suppress the Universe Lord, but against the strongest warrior in the universe, it's still not enough. Don't tell me I have to become the strongest warrior in the universe to leave. Luo Feng shook his head. Impossible, it can't be that ridiculous. No matter how confident Luo Feng was, he didn't dare say he could become the strongest warrior in the universe within 100,000 eras. He believed his teacher Mountain Passenger wouldn't be that stupid. And no matter how good the Space Beast Alliance was, it wouldn't be able to nurture Luo Feng to become the strongest warrior in the universe. What's more, there was no way to nurture the strongest warrior in the universe. The Beast God Path, Space and Time Path etc. could only be trained up to the Universe Lord level. That was already the limit. There was no accurate way to become the strongest in the universe. To become the strongest in the universe, one could only rely on themselves. This was what Mountain Passenger had told Luo Feng back then. Relax. Your teacher has given you some hope. The primogenitor smiled. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief within. Indeed, the requirements weren't that ridiculous. When you are at the undying level, I can only use Universe Lord level techniques. The primogenitor smiled at Luo Feng, and when you reach the Universe Lord level, I can use Universe Lord level techniques. And when you become a Universe Lord, I can use my strongest techniques. Double quote. No matter if you are an Undying, a Universe Lord, or a Universe Lord. This clone of mine will always maintain the same God body as you. The primogenitor smiled. It's just that as your comprehension of the origin laws increases, I can use more techniques. Luo Feng was stunned. A peak-level secret art of the Lord of the Universe. Of course, the pinnacle techniques, the primogenitor smiled. I'll definitely use techniques that are incomparably close to the ultimate level. Luo Feng felt a sense of despair. Preposterous. It was too preposterous. He was just an Undying, and he wanted to fight the space beast primogenitor? Even though the primogenitor could only use Universe Lord level techniques that were infinitely close to the ultimate level. But that could still be considered an ultimate technique. Defeat? Don't tell me I, an Undying, have to create a Universe Lord level technique? Luo Feng shook his head. What a joke. Double quote. An Undying creating a Universe Lord level technique? Never heard of it. Definitely impossible. If I break through to the Universe Lord level, that primogenitor would be able to use the Universe Lord level's ultimate technique. With his methods, his ultimate technique would probably be even stronger than the primal Chaos City leaders. Luo Feng felt despair. When I become a Universe Lord, then the primogenitor will be able to go all out. There was no hope. In comparison, when he was at the Undying level, he had a higher chance. Just an Undying wanted to create the ultimate art of the Universe Lord? That was simply a dream. Right, I believe you won't be able to do it even in 1,000,000,000 years. The primogenitor smiled at Luo Feng. Hence, I'm naturally confident in my bet of 100,000 eras with your teacher Mountain Passenger. Hahaha, if you want to reach this requirement, there are actually only two paths. Double quote. 1. When you're at the Undying level, create a Universe Lord level technique. 2nd, you can become the strongest person in the universe in my Beast God realm. There are only these two paths. Hence, don't even think about becoming a Universe Lord, etc. After all, the moment you focus on your origin law comprehension, the time you spend on it will constantly increase. From the Undying level to the pinnacle of the Universe Lord, just the origin law comprehension alone will require a long period of time, hence it's even more impossible to succeed within 100,000 eras. Double quote. You only have these two paths. There's a slight possibility. One is to become the strongest in the universe. There's a slight possibility. Double quote. The other is to create a Universe Lord level technique at the Undying level. There's a slight possibility. The primogenitor smiled at Luo Feng. Of course it's just a slight possibility. I believe you'll never reach it, and will forever be trapped in the Beast God world. Luo Feng felt helpless. No wonder this primogenitor, who stood at the pinnacle of the universe, dared to make such a bet. No wonder he was so confident. A slight possibility? This was purely in theory, however the actual probability was probably 1 in 1,000,000,000. This Beast God world is open to nurture you. The primogenitor pointed at the surroundings. The statues in the distance immediately shone brightly. Even parts of the plains in the distance shone with light. Even further away, light shot into the sky. The statues, the ground, and the walls of the distant mountain range. Some of them have nomological runes left behind, and some are secret arts. All sorts of God body oscillation techniques, soul oscillation techniques, battle techniques, close combat techniques, soul attack techniques, spirit weapon techniques, there's everything. Some are weak while others are strong. There are even tens of Universe Lord level techniques. Double quote. You can learn as you wish. This beast god world is open to you everywhere. The Primogenitors smiled. You can study all of them, unleash your talent and create another miracle. Haha, if you want to challenge me, you can challenge me anytime. Of course, if you become the strongest in the universe, you won't even need to challenge me. Double quote. Explore as much as you want. Study as much as you want, I'll await your challenge. Hahaha, 100,000 eras, haha, interesting, interesting. The Primogenitor laughed and vanished into thin air. Chapter 1084 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng watched as the space beast ancestor vanished and swiftly descended, landing beside a lake in the vast forest. He sat cross-legged and closed his eyes to think. His heart gradually calmed down. Only then did Luo Feng open his eyes and start to think carefully about this matter. Teacher Mountain Passenger paid a huge price to give me this chance, allowing me to enter the Space Beast Alliance's important grounds. However, for me to defeat the ancestor's body, how can I do that? To become the universe's strongest warrior, that's too far away for me. Double quote. Create the Universe Lord's ultimate technique? Luo Feng shook his head. My origin law comprehension is very low, barely at the entry level of the Universe Knight. To create an absolute technique, one first has to have origin law comprehension as the foundation. I have no foundation at all, how can I create it? Even if I use the beast god conception as the foundation, my beast god conception is only slightly higher than the origin law comprehension. Luo Feng shook his head. Origin law comprehension and beast god conception were the principles of the absolute techniques. The origin law comprehension was completely comprehended. Even though the beast god conception wasn't completely comprehended, it was still memorized through trillions of simulations. However, my origin law comprehension and beast god conception are both very low. To create the Universe Lord's ultimate technique? How is that possible? Double quote. Luo Feng looked up and surveyed his surroundings. Teacher Mountain Passenger made me come here, could it be that the beast god realm can help me reach this goal? Luo Feng soared into the sky and became a beam of light, swiftly flying towards the nearest golden beast statue. The golden beast god was a fusion of the space and gold origin laws. It was also the path Luo Feng trained in. Luo Feng landed before a majestic golden beast statue. This huge horned lizard's thick right claw was tearing the ground, its long tail was slightly swaying, curving in mid-air. The entire statue had many complex engravings on its scales. These engravings were completely different from the beast god statue Luo Feng had. A new engraving. It also gave the entire statue a sense of peace and tranquility. Almost as though the golden beast god was taking a leisurely stroll, casually scratching the ground with its claws. Luo Feng looked up with a curious expression. I clearly feel like this is an origin law engraving, however why are the engravings on the scales different? After studying for a while, Luo Feng couldn't understand. Luo Feng broke through the air and flew towards the other golden beast god statue. After all, the golden beast god was the one he understood the most among the 8 great beast gods. The other golden beast statue also made Luo Feng feel like it was an origin law body, however that golden beast god was emitting an incredibly terrifying killing energy, almost as though it was about to attack. The patterns on the scales changed again. Horizontal ellipsis. One after another, the metal beast god statues appeared. Each of them was different. There was anger, tranquility, happiness, madness, determination, roaring. In different states, the scales of the metal beast god in different states were also different. Moreover, among those statues, Some of the golden beast gods used their sharp claws to attack, some used their tails, and some used their horns. It seemed like any part of their bodies could be attacked. Horizontal ellipsis. After looking at the gold beast god, Luo Feng looked at the thunder beast god, light beast god, other beast god statues. These statues were much stronger than the statues Hirota left behind back then. It even made Luo Feng feel that these statues were very close to the little beast god statue he had. The 8 natural beast gods. Every beast god has many statues, and every one of them seems to have completely integrated the origin laws. Luo Feng was shocked within. After looking at the 8 statues, Luo Feng wandered around the beast god world. On the wasteland, on the ancient trees, on the walls, on the mountain peaks, at the bottom of the lakes, there were all sorts of techniques and carvings. When one got close to these places, one could feel the pressure emitted from the carvings. Some were pure engravings, while others were detailed introductions of origin laws. Techniques left behind by the space beasts in the past. Strong or weak. There were even tens of Universe Lord ultimate techniques. As for the pinnacle of Universe Lord techniques and the Universe Knight level techniques, there were countless. There were close combat techniques, spirit weapon techniques, hypnosis techniques, body amplification techniques, soul amplification techniques. It made Luo Feng's eyes blur. My soul amplification technique can only amplify 32 times. Even though the golden horned beast has its own amplification techniques, deities of the world is a more basic one, its limit is only 36 times. The techniques here, most of them can exceed 80 times, some even reach 100 times. Luo Feng was very satisfied with them. If he memorized more techniques, body amplification techniques, soul amplification techniques, he wouldn't have to think of other ways to find them, he could easily train them to perfection in the beast god world. Of course, having the techniques didn't mean success. Just like many who received the inheritance of the god generals, those who truly received the complete inheritance could be counted on one's fingers. Space Beast Alliance's universe, within the beast god world. The vast land and skies were endless. On the peak of the majestic mountain, Luo Feng leaned on the rock and gazed at the endless land and skies, exclaiming, "What exquisite techniques! The Universe Lord's ultimate techniques are indeed unfathomable. Even the Primal Chaos City Leader Teacher's technique is only at this level. It's a pity, I'm still in a daze." Double quote. Even though some of the techniques had some notes. However, Luo Feng's comprehension was too low, it was like looking at a flower in a fog. He didn't understand anything. The Universe Lord's ultimate techniques are right in front of me. They all have notes and explanations, yet I can't understand them. And you want me to create them? Double quote. Teacher Mountain Traveler, you have too much confidence in me. Luo Feng was helpless. This was a treasure trove. Just from the beast god statues, Luo Feng was able to see every natural beast god's state and state. Luo Feng felt many of the questions he had over the years suddenly cleared up. And Luo Feng had a feeling, the scales produced different amounts of pressure. And all of them were like origin laws. There was a secret within. I feel that every statue is an absolute technique. Luo Feng muttered, and there should be some connection between the statues. It's just that my level is still too low, I can't see through it at all. Double quote. Luo Feng was actually in a daze at the start, having such a feeling. As he browsed through the many techniques, he realized that the creators of these techniques all had notes at the back. They were all comprehended from certain beast god statues. This made Luo Feng understand immediately, these statues were definitely not ordinary. Comprehended? How do I comprehend? The creators of these techniques are mostly universe lords. How do I comprehend them? Luo Feng shook his head. Teacher Mountain Traveler, you might have to lose that ultimate treasure. Luo Feng said softly, suddenly he was stunned. Not right. Luo Feng suddenly stood up. The ancestor is powerful, teacher mountain traveler isn't stupid either. Luo Feng muttered to himself, in comparison, teacher mountain traveler knows more about me. Since he dared to bet, it means he has some confidence. Which means I have a chance of achieving it. Then where is this chance? Double quote. Where is it? How do I achieve it? Luo Feng could vaguely feel that he had a way to achieve it, but he couldn't think of anything. After thinking for 3 days, he still couldn't think of anything. Forget it, 100,000 eras, that's 1 billion years, such a long time, there's no rush. For now, I'll focus on training the 9 calamities manuals. 9 calamities, 9 calamities. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Training the 9 calamities manuals will definitely allow the golden horned beast to reach the perfect gene level. Double quote. Last time I obtained the natural talent I'm the universe. This time, I might even get a natural talent technique. Double quote. Even if I don't get it, the golden horned beast should be able to unleash I'm the universe by then. I'm the universe talent technique at the very least consumes such a huge amount of God body, even the ultimate techniques of the universe wouldn't be this ridiculous. And when my consciousness was bestowed, that light's power felt much stronger than the universe lord's. This I'm the universe technique should be considered the universe lord's ultimate technique. Double quote. Luo Feng was overjoyed. Right, the natural talent technique I'm the universe. The ancestor only told me to defeat his body, he didn't say I couldn't use my natural talent techniques. Luo Feng laughed to himself, right, just like Bark Mirror Emperor who was only an undying, his natural talent techniques power can be considered at the universe lord level. I've reached the perfect gene level, the I'm the universe technique is obviously much more powerful. Double quote. Ha ha ha. 100,000 eras. I don't need 100,000 eras, I can do it in 100 years, only 3 days have passed in the actual universe. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation, he had a strong feeling, from the commotion of the I'm the universe talent technique, its power definitely wouldn't be weak. Along with the consumption of such a powerful God body at the lowest level, it would definitely meet the requirements. HMPH. When the golden horned beast unleashes I'm the universe, it can completely defeat the primogenitor clone that can only unleash the universe lord pinnacle technique. Luo Feng was enlightened. He couldn't think of a way before, but now he had confidence. He had looked at the many techniques of the beast god realm, even though he was confused, he felt that I'm the universe wasn't any weaker than any of them. Filled with anticipation, Luo Feng began to fully immerse himself. The golden horned beast's tail, back 2 claws, wings, upper back and head, these 7 areas all had at least 10 blood river crystals infused into them. The genetic amplification could reach up to 10 times. And the right claw, left claw and back all had 100 blood river crystals infused, the genetic amplification could reach up to 100 times. As he trained, the golden horned beast's life genetic level continued to rise, 7,000, 7,500, 8,000, 8,500, 9,000, 9,500. When the 6th level of the 9 level was completed, the golden horned beast's life genetic level had reached about 9,900 times. I'm just a little away from the perfect limit. Luo Feng was filled with pride. 7th level. The golden horned beast continued to train for the 7th level, causing its life genetic level to steadily rise, nearing the legendary limit. Just like back then when the ocean clone finally reached its limit, finally, on the 62nd year of entering the beast god realm, the golden horned beast's life genetic level reached the limit of perfection. Chapter 1085 Swallowed Star. The clear lake water rippled, the surface of the lake was covered in mist, permeating the surroundings. Beside the lake, Luo Feng sat cross-legged. On his shoulder was a 1-meter-long golden horned beast. Perfect limit. Back then the ocean clone had reached this level. Only after transforming into the endless ocean, the new ocean clone that was formed was merely 1,000 times stronger. I've finally allowed the golden horned beast to reach this level. Luo Feng smiled, at the same time waiting for the changes to happen. According to normal procedures, the moment one's life force reached perfection, there would be changes. The last time was when the universe origin laws descended, causing Luo Feng's consciousness to be drawn into the mysterious space, allowing the ocean clone to swiftly reach over 90,000 kilometers tall. Luo Feng sat there frowning. 1 second, 2 seconds. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. No changes. Why isn't there any movement at all? Luo Feng was shocked. After 62 years of training in the 9 Calamity Manual, he reached the perfect gene level. But this time, there was no movement at all. His divine body didn't change, and Luo Feng's consciousness wasn't drawn into that mysterious place again. Luo Feng stood up in shock. Don't tell me, don't tell me. Luo Feng's eyes stared wide, filled with unwillingness. He carefully thought about it and understood why there wasn't any change. Because this was another universe. And not the primal universe. Even though Luo Feng knew it was another universe, in theory, even though it was a different universe, gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, light, thunder, time, space, even the many fusion laws, everything was the same as the primal universe. Comprehending the origin laws and techniques was no different from the primal universe. Just like in the primal universe, stepping into the universe level, domain lord, sector lord, etc., it was exactly the same as in the primal universe. The primal universe was the largest and most vast universe, with trillions of races and countless life forms. And the primal universe and the Space Beast Alliance universe were much smaller. One big, two small. However, the laws, the Strong's training etc. were all the same. Different universes would only have slight differences in time flow and environment. The big aspects were all the same. Hence Luo Feng thought. The moment he reached the perfect life gene level, the golden horned beast would evolve again. Even his consciousness could enter the mysterious space of this universe again. Wrong. It seems that there are differences between different universes. This universe of the Starry Sky Behemoth Alliance doesn't have any reaction to my perfect genetic level. Even his god body hasn't evolved. Luo Feng shook his head. What to do now? Double quote. Luo Feng was troubled. Even though the golden horned beast's life gene level had reached a perfect level, and in terms of quality, it had reached the minimum requirement of using I'm the universe. But in terms of quantity, it was very lacking. One had to know that a 90,000 kilometer tall divine body could only be used 10 times. The golden horned beast was only 1,000 kilometers, that was a few 100,000th of a 90,000 kilometer high god body. The moment it uses I'm the universe, the golden horned beast's body would be completely exhausted before it could even form the technique. Relying on the natural ability I'm the universe to defeat the primogenitor's body won't work. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Then what do I do? At that moment, Luo Feng felt helpless. His clone's body was too small, so he couldn't use his innate secret technique. Did he have to create it himself? Just based on his law comprehension and beast god mentality, to create the universe lord's ultimate technique, that was simply the biggest joke in the world. What should I do? Luo Feng constantly thought, however he realized there was no hope. He wasn't even a knight, how could he create the universe lord's ultimate technique? Become the universe's strongest? Ridiculous. The beast god world was vast and vast. In one of the mountain ranges, on one of the mountain peaks, the white-robed primogenitor old man sat beside him. Opposite him was a green-robed old man with 2 crystalline horns. The 2 of them sat opposite each other. Mountain Guest, looks like your disciple has fallen into a predicament. The primogenitor smiled. Don't rush. Mountain Guest gazed into the distance. Whether it was the primogenitor or the Mountain Guest, both of them had sent their clones here. After all, this was the universe controlled by the primogenitor, just like how the primal universe was controlled by the primal Chaos City leader. This universe was controlled by the primogenitor. In the primal universe, the primal Chaos City leader was invincible. In this universe, even though the primogenitor was just a clone, the moment he borrowed the universe origin energy, he was still an invincible being. Hence, similarly the universe's strongest Mountain Guest naturally wouldn't fall into a predicament, he could just casually create a clone. At the universe's strongest level, he could casually create another clone. You're really powerful. Back then you forcefully raised your second disciple's life genetic level to close to 10,000 times. Now the third disciple you've nurtured is even more extraordinary, he's already reached the perfect gene level. The primogenitor side, in terms of nurturing disciples, especially raising the life genetic level, I'm far from you. Mountain Guest shook his head and laughed. This goes against the universe's laws. One has to pay a sufficient price. I've only nurtured these 2 disciples. If it were any more, I wouldn't be able to afford it. Double quote. The primogenitor nodded. At their level, they were already standing at the pinnacle. Like the amplitude techniques, life genetic level etc., they had no meaning to them, they had long reached the perfect level. Otherwise, how could they be called the universe's strongest? Everyone who can reach the perfect gene level will receive the primal universe origin energy's blessing. Their divine body can evolve to the perfect level. Their consciousness can also receive the strongest talent secret technique. The primogenitor sighed, what a pity. Double quote. This is my universe. The primogenitor glanced at Mountain Guest. My universe is far from being as powerful as the primal universe. I can't give him the talent secret technique. I can't make his divine body evolve either. The primogenitor held up the wine that was condensed from countless dew and took a sip. His divine body hasn't evolved. Even if he has the strongest talent secret technique, he won't be able to use it. Moreover, he hasn't even received the strongest talent secret technique. If this was the primal universe, I'm afraid I'd lose this bet. What a pity. This is my universe. The primogenitor looked at Mountain Guest. I can control all unexpected factors. Your disciple can only rely on the beast god realm. Quite confident. Mountain Guest also held up the wine, took a sip, and sighed. This wine is not bad, give me some later. This wine of mine is specially cultivated in this universe I control, in many special environments, before finally producing it. The cost of the effort is not small. The primogenitor looked at Mountain Guest and laughed. However, your ultimate treasure is about to lose to me. This little wine is nothing. Old beast god, remember, 100,000 eras. Mountain Guest shook his head. How long has it been? Don't be too confident. Oh, you're very confident. The primogenitor said. Do you think that disciple of yours will be able to become the strongest expert in the universe in 100,000 epochs? Or will he be able to create the ultimate secret technique of the Lord of the Universe with his undying body? Or will he be able to create the ultimate technique of the strongest expert in the universe with his paragon body? According to the bet. The moment Luo Feng becomes the Universe Lord, then the primogenitor clone can use the Universe Lord ultimate technique. The ultimate technique used by the primogenitor clone will undoubtedly be the pinnacle of the ultimate techniques used by the Universe Lord. To defeat such a primogenitor clone, the only way is to create the universe's strongest ultimate technique. I can only tell you. Mountain Guest looked at the primogenitor. My disciple has hope of succeeding. Of course, if he can't comprehend it and fails, he can only blame himself for not being capable enough. Hope. What a joke. The primogenitor still didn't believe it. 100,000 eras, it's only 100,000 years in the primal universe, just watch. Mountain Guest said, in these 100,000 years, don't let any other warriors enter the beast god realm, don't disturb him. Relax, I definitely won't purposely disturb him. The primogenitor said. Where's the wine? Mountain Guest said. The primogenitor flipped his hand and immediately an exquisite wine bottle appeared, floating in mid-air. This is half of what I've accumulated. The primogenitor said. I'm leaving. Mountain Guest flipped his hand and kept the wine. He turned and gazed into the distance. The distant Luo Feng was deep in thought, following which he turned and took a step, vanishing into thin air. Hope. The primogenitor gazed below. Mountain Guest, that old punk actually said his disciple has hope of succeeding, becoming the universe's strongest is definitely a joke. Which means, he thinks his disciple can create the universe Lord ultimate technique with his undying body. Double quote. HMPH. If this Luo Feng succeeds, it'll be an eye-opener for me. If he fails, that ultimate treasure will be mine. The primogenitor smiled and vanished into thin air. Luo Feng sat by the lake for a total of 9 days, even studying his teacher Mountain Guest and the space beast primogenitor's mentality, but he still couldn't find a solution. Primogenitor, Mountain Guest, they are the strongest in the universe, their knowledge and abilities are at the pinnacle of the universe. The primogenitor doesn't believe I can do it. Since teacher Mountain Guest made this bet, he definitely thinks I have a chance of doing it, at least within 1 billion years. Luo Feng pondered, he told me to come to the beast god realm, so to reach this requirement, I have to first search within the beast god realm. Luo Feng understood. The first goal was the beast god realm. Throughout history, there have definitely been many that came to the beast god realm. After all, the techniques were obviously left behind by the universe lords and knights of the Space Beast Alliance. However, these powerful beings couldn't possibly create the universe lord ultimate technique at the undying level. The moment someone could do it, the primogenitor wouldn't gamble. Luo Feng nodded to himself. From this, it could be deduced that just relying on the beast god realm wasn't enough. First, I have to rely on the beast god realm. Second, I have to rely on some of my own secrets. Third, I still need a long time, otherwise teacher Mountain Guest wouldn't have bet 100,000 eras. Luo Feng thought, 100,000 eras, that was 1 billion years. That was an extremely long time. Chapter 1086 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng understood that if he wanted to succeed, he had to start from the beast god world. He also understood that his teacher paid such a huge price to let him enter the beast god world, it would definitely be of great benefit to him. Hence, Luo Feng once again began his tour of the beast god world. This time he was extremely serious and careful. First, he left a secret technique carving on the ground of a plane and learned 2 sets of amplitude amplification secret techniques. One was a soul amplitude technique, called 9-peak lock. When trained to the extreme, one could reach a soul amplitude of 99.99, which was actually 100 times. The other was a god body amplitude technique, called Golden Beast God. When trained to the extreme, one could reach 100 times. Luo Feng originally thought that his training would be very difficult. However, he didn't expect Golden Beast God to be completed in one go. In a short 3 days, he reached the perfect level. Whether it was the Moshe clansman, his earth body, ocean body or the golden horned beast, they could all unleash this god body amplitude technique. As for 9-peak lock, it was an extreme control of the godly energy. Its requirements for willpower and consciousness were extremely high. However, Luo Feng's willpower and consciousness were at the Universe Overlord level. And the Universe Overlord's soul amplitudes were all at a perfect level. Hence, it was easy for Luo Feng to train. After spending over a month, he actually managed to train 9 peak lock to a perfect level. My godly energy, willpower and consciousness, they are all at the universe overlord level. Yet, training them is so easy. Luo Feng sighed within. This was the difference in strength and difficulty. If it was an emperor level undying, probably not even one out of the tens of thousands of them could train 9 peak lock to its absolute peak. 9 peak lock and golden beast god, these two amplitude techniques took over a month to train. Luo Feng then continued to tour the beast god world. The beast god world had 64 beast god statues. Each of the 8 great innate beast deities had 8 statues of beast deities. There were tens of thousands of secret techniques, 36 Universe Lord ultimate techniques, 123 Universe Lord pinnacle techniques, 3000 Universe Lord ultimate techniques, and tens of thousands of Universe Lord pinnacle techniques. There were also large amounts of seemingly random origin law engravings. He couldn't understand most of the secret techniques, and he could only vaguely understand some of the most basic secret techniques. After studying it for half a year, Luo Feng arrived before one of the golden beast god statues, raising his head to carefully study it. Those absolute arts are useless against me. Those were all created by other experts. Even if I learned them, they would be most suitable for others. In my hands, they would be much weaker. Luo Feng looked at the beast god statue, and many of the techniques have descriptions of studying the beast god statue. Even the masters of the universe can comprehend these beast god statues. In the entire beast god realm, the most precious thing is these 64 beast god statues. Luo Feng stared. Horizontal ellipsis. In the beast god realm, on one of the mountain peaks, the primogenitor stood casually, gazing at the distant golden beast statue in the vast forest where Luo Feng stood. He said softly, "You've actually stood before the beast god statue for a total of 3 years, looks like you've realized, the beast god statue is the most precious thing." That's right. All the peerless geniuses and super experts of our Starry Sky Alliance know that the beast god statue is the key. There are many who understand this. However, those who comprehend the absolute arts, especially the Universe Lord's ultimate arts, are extremely few. And, those who comprehend the Universe Lord's ultimate arts are all Universe Lords. The primogenitor was leisurely and carefree. He himself was clear. The other techniques of the beast god realm seemed precious, but they weren't much. The 64 statues were the true priceless treasures. Luo Feng stood before the 8 statues, studying them for a year at least, or 8 years at most. As for the thunder and light beast gods, the time he took to study them was much shorter. After all, he didn't walk the path of the other beast gods. The 64 statues took a total of 52 years. The more I look, the more I feel, it's perfect. Golden beast god, 8 statues. Luo Feng felt that after looking at the 8 statues of the golden beast god, the rage, joy, calmness, roar, madness, all sorts of situations were very familiar to him. Closing his eyes, it was almost as though he had personally seen the beast god, the golden beast god. One less statue would make me feel incomplete. Luo Feng nodded within. Actually, just looking at the 64 statues. As long as one was a strong warrior, they would feel that the 64 statues were one body. The 64 statues represented the universe engravings, and if they could combine into one, it could completely form an absolute technique. Just like a man and woman, with one look, they would feel like husband and wife. The 64 statues, if one calmed down and looked at them, they would feel like they were one body. Every warrior of the Space Beast Alliance that came to the Beast God realm should be able to feel it. However, no one has been able to comprehend this technique. Luo Feng thought. Because of the Beast God realm's 36 most powerful universe techniques, some were comprehended from the Golden Beast God, some from the thunder beast god, and occasionally from 2 beast gods. However, from the aura left behind by the statues, they were all equally powerful. Obviously the techniques were all about the same level. If one were to combine the 8 statues to create an absolute technique, it would definitely surpass the other techniques. After learning the 2 oscillation techniques and studying the beast god statues, Luo Feng began to study himself. I have to succeed. 1. Rely on the beast god realm. 2. Rely on my unique body. 3. Rely on time. I've studied the beast god realm thoroughly. And myself, what's truly unique, even the absolute warriors of the Space Beast Alliance other than the Primogenitor, can't compare to, is probably the 9-level manuals, Star Pagoda, Natural Talents, I'm the Universe and Endless Dark Ocean. Luo Feng thought. The 9-level manuals, one of a kind in the universe. Star Pagoda, the universe's ultimate treasure. Other than the Primogenitor, the chances of any other being in the Space Beast Alliance having such an ultimate treasure was extremely low, at least Luo Feng had never heard of it. The natural talent I'm the Universe, this was a natural talent bestowed by the universe after reaching a perfect genetic level. One had to know that many unique special life forms only had a few thousand times the normal genetic level. Close to 10,000 times was rare. Not to mention reaching a perfect level. Space beasts weren't special life forms unless one had something similar to the 9-level manuals, it would be hard to reach such a level. Endless dark ocean, it meant that the god energy was almost endless. It was a pity that he was in another universe and had no way to absorb the energy from the endless dark ocean. He did as he said. Primal universe, Luo Feng's earth body first headed to the Star Pagoda, studying the countless stars and the engravings on the sky pillars. It was a pity, it felt even more profound than the universe lord techniques in the beast god realm, he couldn't understand them at all. Following which, he carefully studied the 9-level manuals. This was purely a technique to raise one's genetic level, and in terms of profoundness, it was comparable to the Star Pagoda engravings, far surpassing the universe lord techniques. Similarly, he didn't understand the profoundness within, he could only train it step by step. Following which, returning to the endless dark ocean, he began to unleash his natural talent I'm the Universe. Luo Feng's other bodies couldn't unleash I'm the Universe, unless the enemy entered the God Country. The endless dark ocean within the God Country was able to unleash I'm the Universe. Natural talent, I'm the Universe. Rumble. Immediately the endless God energy ocean burned and became endless energy. In the air above the endless dark ocean, a huge egg-shaped ball with a diameter of 10 billion kilometers appeared. Miniature universe. This is the universe. Miniature universe. Luo Feng's consciousness merged with the miniature universe, feeling incredibly excited. Ever since he got the talent, I'm the Universe, this was the first time he used it according to the incomparably mysterious talent that was imprinted in his consciousness. When he used it, the God energy consumption rate was simply terrifying. Almost as soon as he used it, the God energy of the golden horned beast's God body was completely used up. Luckily the endless dark ocean was vast enough. Miniature universe. The vast universe, with a diameter of 10 billion kilometers, it contained everything. Within this vast universe, there was chaos energy flow, and the miniature universe itself was Luo Feng. How mysterious. Absolute control, absolute control. The moment Luo Feng transformed into the miniature universe, he understood that he could split a portion of his god body to fight with his enemies within the universe within his own miniature universe. With the pressure of the universe, his strength would rise greatly, while his enemies would be suppressed greatly. This was just one of the abilities. The strongest was universe explosion. Luo Feng was shocked. With just a thought, he could cause the entire miniature universe to instantly collapse into the universe destruction. Its power was unbelievable. What a mysterious technique. There's actually such a heavenly talent that can transform into a miniature universe. Luo Feng exclaimed. Simultaneously his consciousness began to carefully study the miniature universe. The membrane of the huge ellipsoidal sphere, the miniature universe, was formed by countless strands of law threads connecting together to form a huge mystical pattern of law, transforming it into chaotic air currents. The chaotic air currents revolved around the huge mystical pattern and condensed into a membrane. The other chaos energy flowed within the miniature universe constantly. The huge origin law engravings, this was Luo Feng's natural talent that he unleashed. He didn't understand it at all, and this was his first time personally seeing this origin law engravings. This origin law engravings were oval-shaped, formed from trillions of origin law threads that intersected and intersected. It was extremely complicated. This origin law engravings was the laws of the miniature universe, and Luo Feng's God energy consumption was to supply the entire miniature universe's consumption. Accurately speaking, this wasn't a true universe. A true universe's energy should be cyclical, it should never be consumed. However, Luo Feng's energy was constantly being consumed. Obviously this origin law engravings should be a simplified version of the primal universe's laws. Even so, it was enough to stun Luo Feng. Luo Feng was completely shocked by this engravings. This engravings had a beauty that shook the soul. It was more shocking than any ultimate technique, even more beautiful than the engravings on the beast god statues. Chapter 1087 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng was completely immersed in this shock, carefully admiring this huge and intricate miniature universe engravings. As time passed, the amount of God energy consumed in 90 seconds was comparable to the 90,000 kilometer tall ocean clone, 10,000 times genetic life form. However, the endless ocean could easily withstand it. This isn't this. Luo Feng was shocked to find that the incredibly complicated and intricate engravings could be completely separated, forming many small engravings. Every small engravings was from the 64 beast god statues. One of the statues had a total of 92 engravings, many of them were repeated, however it was obvious that they all came from the 64 beast god statues. And these 92 engravings had countless threads intertwining, almost like large amounts of spare parts finally forming a car. These 92 engravings, every part had countless threads intertwining, perfect and flawless, almost like it was made by nature, finally forming a miniature universe. How can this be? 64 engravings combining and forming a miniature universe engravings. Luo Feng suddenly felt as though a new door had opened before him. If one didn't know about the 64 engravings beforehand, then facing the miniature universe engravings with trillions of origin laws intertwining and intertwining, one would only find it profound and unfathomable. However, right now, Luo Feng felt that from the perspective of the engravings, it was obviously much easier. It was just a complex combination of the 64 engravings. It's unbelievable. Luo Feng was completely captivated. He had never realized that the high and mighty heaven-defying techniques could actually be analyzed from another perspective. Primal universe. In the vast space, a normal universe ship was flying. Within the ship, this disciple of mine has the 9 underworlds body. He's already reached the perfect life form level before undying. He must have received the strongest natural abilities. Mountain passengers sat in the ship, saying softly, and the strongest natural abilities are the pinnacle of the countless natural abilities in the universe. Every single one of them can be considered perfect. And the 64 engravings. They are the perfect embodiment of the 8 beast gods. Double quote. The 8 beast gods are the embodiment of the 8 great origin laws. The universe's laws can be split into metal, wood, water, fire, earth, light, wind, thunder, time, space, They can also be split into the 8 great origin laws. Mountain Passenger smiled. Mountain Passenger was already standing at the pinnacle of the universe. He could clearly see through everything. The most powerful secret arts can be broken down into 64 secret patterns. As for some low-level secret techniques, they can't even compare to a mysterious beast tattoo. They don't have the qualifications at all. Luo Feng looked at the 64 beast god statues in the beast god world and knew about the 64 engravings. The moment he unleashes his own special technique, he'll definitely discover the connection between the 64 engravings and his special technique. From the angle of the mystical patterns, I'll use the 64 mystical patterns as elements to create a secret art. Double quote. There's no need to understand the principles behind each of the 64 mysterious patterns. All I need to do is memorize the 64 patterns and the structure of each one. Then, with reference to the complicated mysterious pattern structure of the strongest secret innate skill he obtained, we can definitely try this path. Double quote. Once I succeed, it's not impossible to create a simplified version of the strongest talent secret technique. If he really succeeds, then it means that his attainments in the mysterious patterns are already extremely high. Using the 64 engravings as the basic elements to train, there were warriors of this level before the Great Apocalypse. If Luo Feng can achieve something in this area, along with his normal origin law training, his improvement will be even faster. He'll also be able to see through the mysteries of the universe's origin laws. Mountain Passenger waited silently. He was gambling. The path of the mysterious patterns since the birth of the primal universe, no one had walked it before. The main thing was that very few had the qualifications to see the 64 engravings. Even without the guidance of the strongest talent secret techniques perfect engravings, it was still hard to understand. However, before the Great Apocalypse, there were warriors of this level. This meant that this path was possible. Different paths could support each other, yet they all led to the same destination, the mysteries of the universe's origin laws. You haven't even spent 100,000 years to have such accomplishments. I can even endure the life and death inheritance. Now that I'm giving you a total of 1 billion years, I wonder if you'll have any results on the path of the mysterious patterns. Mountain Passenger waited silently. The path of the mysterious pattern training had always been a secret. After all, the Great Apocalypse was far away and unpredictable. During the Great Apocalypse, the mysterious pattern training was extremely secretive and rare. The number of people who trained in it was extremely few. Infatuated. Luo Feng was completely infatuated. He'd never thought that after the 64 engravings were combined, they could form such a heavenly technique. Luo Feng felt that the I'm the Universe technique was extremely powerful. It was like a heavenly book that he couldn't understand at all. But now he understood. This was the incomparably complicated combination of the 64 engravings. Some of the engravings were even repeated. A total of 92 engravings. Don't tell me these 64 engravings, when they combine, they have extremely great power? Luo Feng immediately began his research. In one of the mountain peaks of the beast god realm, the ancestor appeared and gazed below. That's weird. Why is he drawing the engravings over and over again? The ancestor looked from afar. Luo Feng was sitting cross-legged in front of a golden beast statue. Around him, engravings were forming and the engravings began to combine. He's been drawing these engravings for over 10,000 years. The ancestor was suspicious. After Luo Feng studied the engravings, he realized that the engravings were extremely mysterious and hard to fathom. If he drew it wrongly, the power would be greatly reduced. However, Luo Feng completely followed the complicated engravings of the I'm the Universe and simulated a few simple combinations. Like a blind cat catching a mouse, he casually created 10 techniques. However, most of them were weak, comparable to some undying techniques. The only one that was extremely strong was actually close to the third form of the 10,000 star Dao presentation picture. This shocked Luo Feng greatly. He understood. The engraving's path was definitely a new path. And if he wanted to successfully defeat the ancestor within 100,000 eras, he would have to rely on this. At the start, Luo Feng was purely guessing. I'm the universe's incomparably complicated engravings. There were trillions of ways to combine origin law threads. Luo Feng started purely copying and randomly guessing. Just like that, after over 10,000 years, he had successfully created many techniques. Most of them were weaker. However, time after time of experimentation, Luo Feng discovered the differences in these combinations. From practice, he came up with possibilities. From each possibility, he came up with theories. During the first 100,000 years, Luo Feng was completely exploring. To try and guess something that was comparable to the third form of the 10,000 star Dao presentation picture, he only managed to do it twice. Obviously relying on guessing was extremely difficult. After the exploration phase, Luo Feng gradually had some patterns. And Luo Feng made a decision to temporarily abandon the other 56 engravings and completely study the 8 great engravings of the Golden Beast God. Because from the 100,000 years of exploration, it was clear that Luo Feng's guessing was the most accurate of the 8 great engraving diagrams, and his comprehension was also the fastest. After a million years, Luo Feng had some understanding of the 8 great engravings. Over 10 million years, Luo Feng's understanding of the many combinations of the 8 patterns, their mysteries, effects, power etc. was completely grasped within his heart. Of course, these he grasped. Compared to the I'm the universe, this incomparably complex pattern combination was just the tip of the iceberg. However, this tip of the iceberg was completely grasped by Luo Feng. Within these 10 million years, Luo Feng had finally created a universe night-level ultimate technique by chance. Even though he didn't understand the fundamentals, it was like a natural talent technique. Luo Feng had already memorized the way to unleash it, memorizing the countless origin law threads structure and unleashing it in an instant. Logically, this was impossible. The countless origin law threads had to be unleashed in an instant. If one didn't understand the fundamentals, it was impossible to unleash it. Unless it was like a natural talent technique, imprinting it within one's consciousness. However, in truth, Luo Feng didn't need to unleash all of his origin law threads. He only needed to unleash a few engravings and then carefully control them. Vast and profound. The path of the engravings, Luo Feng felt that it was profound and unfathomable. Maybe it was an unorthodox path, but it was a path that led to the highest path. Did Teacher Mountain Passenger already know of this training method, and let me come to the Beast God world? But why has humanity never had such a training method before, and I've never heard of it before? Luo Feng was suspicious at times. However, without a doubt, this is indeed an unbelievable training method. The engravings were like components. The universe was like a skyscraper. Countless components eventually formed the skyscraper, and the construction methods could be split into tiling, carpentry, mechanics etc. Luo Feng had already researched and understood over 900 million ways to combine the engravings. He had completely grasped over 100,000 of them. As this was a completely foreign path, everything depended on Luo Feng's exploration. Hence, everything was difficult at the beginning. As he got started, Luo Feng's speed of grasping the combinations gradually increased. Immersed in the 8 great engravings, Luo Feng forgot about the flow of time. Time passed quickly. Tens of millions of years passed by. Luo Feng frequently studied the 8 great beast drawings, occasionally stopping to study the engravings and create new techniques. At the highest peak of the beast god world, the primogenitor frowned as he gazed below. Luo Feng had been in the beast god world for 180 million years. As time passed, the primogenitor completely understood from Luo Feng's training process, engravings training, this was a path that led to the highest path. This time, I've failed. Mountain Passenger is indeed powerful. He actually knew of such a training method. He actually believed that his disciple would be able to succeed on this foreign path. The primogenitor also deduced that the engravings training method, its weakness was that the foundation wasn't solid enough. Its strength was that one could occasionally get lucky and create a heaven-defying technique. The primogenitor's expression suddenly changed. Chapter 1088 Swallowed Star. It can't be. The ancestor was shocked as he gazed into the distance. Don't tell me he can comprehend the heart of the beast god like this. The plains were overgrown with weeds. A majestic huge horned lizard statue was half crouching, almost as though it was ready to attack. And on the back of the golden beast god statue, Luo Feng was lying on a scale, squinting his eyes. In mid-air before him were countless complicated golden engravings flowing about. Even though it seemed like he was leisurely training for over 100 million years, in truth Luo Feng was in a special state. Over 100 million years, he had been studying the 8 engravings of the golden beast god. Every engraving represented a different aspect of the beast god. The 8 engravings, it made Luo Feng feel like he was studying every aspect of the beast god. Day after day, month after month, year after year. Time passed. Luo Feng had always been studying the 8 engravings. Over the long years, it was almost like he was with the beast god. At this time, after 180 million years of studying the engravings, he suddenly forgot himself. At this time, it was almost like he was the beast god. Joy, happiness, rage, roar, madness. He roamed the universe. He fought with his enemies, fighting in the endless space. The battles continued on through the galaxies, until he finally fell unwillingly. Luo Feng laid there and closed his eyes, not moving at all. Everything was fake. The beast god was the real thing. After a long time. This sleep lasted for 1,000 years. In these 1,000 years, even his earth body and endless dark ocean were in deep slumber. No matter who it was, they had no way of contacting Luo Feng. In these 1,000 years, Luo Feng had forgotten his human memories. He had forgotten everything. In his slumber, he thought he was a beast god, living his life. 1,000 years passed quietly. Luo Feng opened his eyes. Is this Huang's Meng Dai? Luo Feng said softly. The moment he opened his eyes, he couldn't even tell if he was Luo Feng or the beast god. However, very quickly, he completely woke up. Over 100 million years of memories of being a human came flooding back, completely covering the memories of when he was a beast god. Beast god? What a mysterious feeling. Double quote. Luo Feng laid on the back of the beast god statue. The feeling of being a beast god was so clear, he could easily enter that state. Beast deities and humans had completely different living conditions. A state of complete detachment, freedom, and freedom from nature. Horizontal ellipsis. At the peak of the mountain. The primogenitor looked at the scene and shook his head, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. The final bottleneck of the path of the beast god, the hardest to comprehend and obtain heart of the beast god, was grasped by him just like that. According to the ancestor god sect, the path of the beast god was divided into 7 inheritances. After comprehending the way of the beast god, one would step into the level of a master of the universe and become a peak existence in the universe. However, how difficult was it to become a master of the universe? For example, the golden horned beast lineage had only had 2 universe lords throughout the eons, while the flaming star beast lineage only had 1. All of this meant that it was extremely difficult to become a universe lord. There were many checkpoints. One of the most elusive hurdles on the path of the beast god was that one had to comprehend the heart of the beast god in order to transform into a real beast god. This caused some of the universe overlords to be extremely puzzled. Like Hirodo and many other universe overlords, they could only transform into pseudo-beast gods, because none of them had comprehended the heart of the beast god. Without a heart of the beast god, there was no way to transform into a true beast god. And Luo Feng's unintentional efforts had led to great success. Over 100 million years of studying the 8 great engravings, he had unknowingly fallen into a deep sleep, forgetting everything and spending a long period of time as a beast god. That's right. This Luo Feng has made such a name for himself in less than 100,000 years. In our beast god realm, he has trained for 180 million years. He has devoted himself to studying the engravings of the Golden Sky sect. Without any guidance, he has completely figured it out by himself and has already reached an extremely high level. To be able to casually create a universe night level technique, obviously he is incredibly familiar with the 8 great engravings of the Golden Beast God. And these 8 great engravings completely represent the complete Golden Beast God. Double quote. What's more, the Golden Horned Beast is the descendant of the Golden Beast God. It's the easiest for it to comprehend the heart of the Golden Beast God. Combining the two, it's normal for him to succeed. The primogenitor quickly understood. Everything was a matter of preparation. After all, Luo Feng had spent 180 million years on the engravings. With Luo Feng reaching the pinnacle in a few thousand years and creating the 3 ultimate techniques in a few tens of thousands of years, if he were to study the origin laws, he would have long reached the upper level night level in 180 million years. Just to chase and defeat the primogenitor. Hence Luo Feng didn't spend any effort on his origin law comprehension. His entire focus was on studying the engravings. This made his attainment in the engravings far exceed his comprehension of the origin laws. After all, he had only trained for tens of thousands of years. The engravings, however, he had trained for 180 million years. There was no way to compare. This, the primogenitor who had calmed down suddenly had a huge change in expression. He looked in disbelief at Luo Feng on the beast god statue in the wilderness. Even when Luo Feng comprehended the beast god heart, he didn't lose his composure like this. On the back of the beast god statue. After sleeping for 1,000 years, Luo Feng once again studied the 8 great engravings of the Golden Beast God. Using the miniature universe engravings as the final template, he attempted to create new techniques. After sleeping for 1,000 years, Luo Feng was still affected by the heart of the beast god. Hua hua hua. Countless golden threads floated in mid-air. It should be like this. Like this. Coincidentally, even Luo Feng himself didn't know the theory behind the 8 great engravings swiftly fused together. Other than a large portion of the origin law threads combining due to Luo Feng's good foundation, there were also a few that were purely due to Luo Feng's special state of mind. He did it as he wished without thinking at all. Just like the Golden Beast God drifting in the universe, everything was as he wished. If he wanted to kill, he would kill. If he wanted to eat, he would eat. If he wanted to sleep, he would sleep. Luo Feng was still confused and uncertain about how to combine them all. He did it as he wished. It was the most comfortable. Rumble. A golden light suddenly appeared between the land and skies. The golden light immediately swept through the land and skies, causing ripples and crevices to form in the extremely congealed space. Even the ground itself had a 10,000 kilometer long ravine from the ripples. In an instant, the entire land naturally changed and everything returned to normal. I didn't use much god energy. Luo Feng was stunned as he sat on the back of the beast god statue. He gazed at the ravine that led to the end of the wasteland, until it finally returned to normal. Technique? What level technique is it? Luo Feng couldn't believe it. He was powerful, reaching the pinnacle of undying in just a few thousand years. If he used this long 180 million years to completely study the origin laws, he could even reach the 6th or 7th level of the beast god path. He would use this long period of time to study the engravings. It was indeed very successful. Right now, he could easily create a universe knight level technique, even accidentally creating a universe overlord level technique that was extremely powerful. However, in terms of power, it obviously couldn't compare to this golden light. Don't tell me it's the universe lord's ultimate technique. Luo Feng couldn't believe it. If he didn't train, he wouldn't know. After cultivating the school of arcane diagrams, he finally understood that although the school of arcane diagrams could occasionally rely on luck to create a set of secret arts, the more heaven-defying the secret art was, the less likely it was to rely on luck. 180 million years. Luo Feng's attainments in the engravings were already extremely high. He could easily create a universe knight level technique. The strongest he had created was only the universe overlord's ultimate technique. That was only 2 levels higher than his normal abilities. To create the universe lord's ultimate technique according to Luo Feng's guess, he would probably have to study it for another few 100 million years. When he could casually create an overlord level technique, maybe he would be lucky enough to create the universe lord's ultimate technique. The higher the basics. Only then could he accidentally create a stronger technique. As an artist, the stronger his own abilities, the better his inspiration would be. And without any foundation, no matter how much inspiration he had, he wouldn't be able to produce an absolute painting. Luo Feng's current basics were already extremely high. In the engravings, he could be said to be unparalleled in the universe. He was already considered a scholar, an ancestor. However, to create the universe lord's ultimate technique, that was still unbelievable. Is it the universe lord's ultimate technique? Su. Luo Feng leapt up and flew towards the distant mountain range. On his shoulder lay the golden horned beast. After flying for a while, arriving at the mountain wall, there were 3 engravings on it. They were all left behind by the space beasts and universe lords. These 3 were the universe lord's ultimate techniques. I'll carve the engravings of the techniques I created. Won't I know from the pressure? Luo Feng looked at the wall. His god energy surged. Immediately, an incomparably complex engraving appeared on the wall. Even many knights would find it like a heavenly book. If it was the Luo Feng of 180 million years ago, he wouldn't be able to understand it at all. The engraving was profound and profound. It emitted endless pressure. It resonated with the engravings of the 3 great universe engravings. It wasn't any weaker. Over 100 million years of hard work. Along with the beast god heart. At a certain point in time, Luo Feng had casually created such a technique. It was a set of secret techniques that used the miniature cosmos secret pattern diagram as a template. It could be said to be a simplified version of the miniature cosmos secret pattern diagram. It was purely a near-perfect combination of the metal beast god and the 8 great beast god diagrams, forming a set of offensive secret techniques, the ultimate secret technique of the master of the universe. 100 million years of research and creation. The beast god heart. At a certain point in time, the 8 great engravings of the golden beast god were almost perfectly combined. Whether it was reasonable or not, it was born just like that. At the peak of the mountain, the ancestor gazed down. Simultaneously, he communicated to Mountain Guest in the primal universe, "Mountain Guest, why aren't you coming over?" Chapter 1089 Swallowed Star. After a while, another expert appeared on the mountain peak, Mountain Sitting Guest. "You summoned me here to treat me to a drink?" Mountain Guest strolled over. The ancestor stood at the edge of the cliff, pointing afar. Look at your disciple, Luo Feng. Mountain Guest walked to the edge of the cliff and followed the ancestor's finger, looking at the distant Luo Feng in front of a cliff. Looking carefully, he couldn't help but reveal a look of glee, following which he turned and laughed loudly. Old beast god, on the path of the 8 great beast gods, no one in the vast universe can match up to you. However, today, this disciple of mine used the 8 great patterns of the golden beast god to create this technique. Do you admit defeat? Double quote. We haven't even fought yet, how can you say I lost? The ancestor said. You're still quibbling. Mountain Guest shook his head. The ancestor didn't continue on this topic, exclaiming, this disciple of yours is indeed powerful, even though there's a bit of luck involved in creating this technique, but in a short 180 million years, without anyone's guidance, he managed to train the patterns to such a level. His attainment in the patterns is extremely high, especially after comprehending the heart of the golden beast god. It's easier for him to comprehend the 8 great patterns. Casually creating a universe night level technique is extremely easy for him. If he puts in the effort and painstaking effort to create it, he can even create a universe overlord level technique. Double quote. A true universe overlord would have to spend countless years to create a set of ultimate universe overlord secret techniques. From a certain point of view, even if the pattern school was good at creating techniques, that also represented Luo Feng's attainment in the pattern school. Even if he wasn't a universe overlord level, he was still an upper level knight. Heart of the beast god? Mountain Guest revealed a look of glee, laughing loudly. What an unexpected surprise, what an unexpected surprise. He's the golden horned beast, a descendant of the beast god. His bloodline inheritance is very close to the golden beast god. Because of this, along with the long years of studying the 8 great patterns, he was able to comprehend the heart of the beast god. The ancestor exclaimed, to say it's luck is luck, to say it's not luck, if you think about it carefully, it's indeed not luck. Ha ha ha, Mountain Guest laughed loudly as he listened. Look at how proud you are. The primogenitor shook his head helplessly. It was no wonder that Mountain Guest was so proud. His achievements in the secret technique school were a great reference for his comprehension of the laws. Luo Feng wouldn't have much difficulty cultivating to the level of an overlord of the universe. Especially the beast god's heart. It allowed him to walk on the beast god's path even more smoothly. At the very least, one of the biggest hurdles between an autarch of the universe and the lord of the universe, the heart of the beast god, had been resolved. Although it was still very difficult to become a lord of the universe, at least, the chances were much higher. Mountain Passenger glanced at the progenitor and felt pleased with himself. How would you know that this disciple of mine has long since obtained an innate secret technique? It was precisely because he had the guidance of the most powerful innate secret technique, the mysterious pattern diagram, that he had an ultimate template, that he could better study the mysterious pattern diagram school. Even so, to be able to comprehend the heart of the beast god in 180 million years and create the strongest innate ability was still a surprise. Mountain Passenger looked down. Horizontal ellipsis. In front of the cliff far away. That huge engraving was comparable to the 3 sets of ultimate secret techniques of the Lord of the Universe. Done. It's actually the Universe Lord's ultimate technique. Luo Feng stood before the cliff for a while, staring at the scene before him. He still felt that it was too surreal. I've trained for 180 million years and I've actually succeeded. The Universe Lord's ultimate technique, Luo Feng was very confident. However, the Universe Lord's ultimate technique, it was really a result of luck. Primogenitor. Luo Feng looked up fiercely, his voice booming and resounding throughout the land and skies. I challenge you. In the distance, the white-robed primogenitor flew over, landing on the ground and smiling at Luo Feng. You challenge me? Yes. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. Even if he lost, he could still work hard and try again. After all, as long as he could defeat the primogenitor within 100,000 eras, it would be considered a success. What weapon will I use? Luo Feng asked. You use your hand, I'll use my human hand, how about that? The primogenitor raised his right hand, his body was purely formed. Hand? Luo Feng was slightly shocked, using his hand as a weapon. You've already comprehended the heart of the beast god, don't tell me you can't even use your hand as a weapon. The primogenitor asked. Luo Feng was shocked, the memories from his 1,000 years of slumber came flooding back, the beast gods roaming the universe, their claws, tails, horns, they all contained the path of the beast god. Even when they used spirit weapons, they treated them as part of the beast god's body. At this time, Luo Feng felt the huge gap between close combat and spirit weapons disappear. The technique he created, he felt that he could easily use it in close combat. And easily use it on spirit weapons. Fighter, spirit reader, the same, Luo Feng was stunned. You've already comprehended the heart of the beast god, you should comprehend this level. The primogenitor smiled, if you haven't comprehended the heart of the beast god, you'll have to focus on the fighter or spirit reader after all, mixing the two will affect your comprehension of the heart of the beast god. And the beast god naturally uses its body to battle, hence the fighter is better at comprehending the heart of the beast god, finally becoming the beast god. Luo Feng nodded. The primal Chaos City leader had said the same before, telling him to focus on the fighter. However, during these 180 million years, his fighter and spirit reader path had been temporarily set aside. He had been training in the engraving path, accumulating and unknowingly comprehending the heart of the beast god. Do I still need to use my weapon? The primogenitor asked. The beast god can use its claws, naturally I can use my hand too. Luo Feng smiled. Make your move. The primogenitor stood there. Luo Feng gathered his energy and watched from afar, immediately using the Moshe clansmen to battle. After all, the primogenitor suppressed his body to the same level, hence it didn't matter what body he used. Rumble. Luo Feng's body surface immediately had countless engravings revolving. His entire body became a glaring golden light and pounced at the primogenitor. At this time, Luo Feng felt as though he was in his 1,000 years of slumber. The beast god roared and pounced at his opponent. The beast god's simple pounce similarly contained the path of the beast god. And Luo Feng's pounce also contained the universe lord's ultimate technique. This pounce was ferocious and shockingly fast. Just the power of the universe lord's ultimate technique made Luo Feng even faster than when he used the Wu slaying wings. Luo Feng immediately reached before the primogenitor. His right hand became a claw and his fingers had countless engravings revolving and fusing, immediately becoming a glaring golden light and clawing at the primogenitor. Ping! The primogenitor gently extended his hand and the two clashed. The primogenitor floated backwards, seemingly floating, however in truth his speed was extremely fast. Luo Feng was extremely happy within. He felt as though at this moment he had completely merged with the beast god from his 1,000 years of slumber. Pounce. Claws. Legs like a tail, like a whip. Dart. Luo Feng's entire body was immersed in the golden light. Beast roars could be heard faintly. Fast. Sharp. Golden claw images flashed past and the primogenitor was completely suppressed. Even though he resisted time and time again, as Luo Feng got more and more used to it, his entire being became like a beast god. Peng. His fingers were like horns. Chi. They pierced straight through the primogenitor's chest. The primogenitor looked down and smiled as he nodded. He immediately took a step back and his body returned to normal. You win. Luo Feng, who was completely covered in the golden light, was stunned. He was stunned. Did he really defeat the primogenitor? even though it was only suppressed to the same level, even though he could only unleash the Universe Lord Pinnacle techniques. He was still the primogenitor. The feeling of defeating the primogenitor was really, really unreal. Thank you, primogenitor, Luo Feng said respectfully. From start to finish, the primogenitor had always focused on defense. Hence Luo Feng was able to get stronger and stronger as he fought, completely understanding the beast god's battle style. No need to thank me. The primogenitor shook his head and smiled. I've already unleashed the Universe Lord Pinnacle's strongest defense, yet I still wasn't able to block it. If I had fought you right from the start, I might have won once. However, I believe if you continued challenging me a few more times, you would still win. Since that's the case, there's no need to delay. Double quote. Luo Feng was even more grateful. Thinking back on these 180 million years, the benefits he had gained in the Beast God realm were too great. The Beast God heart was an unexpected gain. In Graving School, this was a brand new school that even had an ultimate Universe Lord technique. Ha ha ha. A loud laugh resounded. A silhouette flew over from above. Mountain Passenger looked at Luo Feng from afar. After 180 million years, this disciple of his had truly transformed. 180 million years ago, Luo Feng's training time was too short and his accumulations were too weak. He relied on the 9-level manuals to create his powerful body, huge body size and his armor to stand amongst the strong. However, those were all the basics of the body, and Luo Feng's foundations were incomparably strong. But in terms of laws, secret techniques, and other techniques, he was far too weak. But now, it had reached an extremely high level and was stronger than many of the universe's overlords. His accumulations are already very solid. Already able to unleash his accumulations, I believe this disciple of mine will be able to smoothly train all the way to the Universe Lord level. Only stepping into the Universe Lord level will make it difficult for him. Mountain Passenger was very satisfied. Flame Emperor's development ultimately disappointed him. Hence he put all his effort into nurturing this third disciple. His third disciple didn't disappoint him. The laughter made Luo Feng and the primogenitor look up. Teacher? Luo Feng looked up at the silhouette flying over, stunned. Mountain Passenger. The primogenitor laughed. Don't get too cocky. It's your disciple's ability that's high, and don't forget, he has a golden horned beast body. His soul has long fused with the body. It's hard to tell if he's human or golden horned beast. If I say he's the golden horned beast, who can say otherwise? That's a matter between your Space Beast Alliance and the human race. It has nothing to do with me. Whether this disciple of mine is human or Space Beast Alliance, or independent, I have no opinion. Mountain Passenger landed. Luo Feng went up and said respectfully, your disciple greets teacher. HM. Mountain Passenger smiled and nodded. After which he looked at the primogenitor, don't forget the bet. Chapter 1099 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng, you sure have guts, using yourself as bait to attract the foreign race warriors to surround and attack. After that, the universe tyrant will use his domain treasures to trap the warriors and slaughter them. In the distance, among the 6 teams of foreign race warriors, a silver-headed huge wolf floated in mid-air. His body was about 10 kilometers long, looking at the distant golden wave where Luo Feng stood. Thank you Jade Far Knight for your compliments. Luo Feng nodded. Jade Far Knight was even harder to deal with than the Zhong's Han Knight he killed before. Firstly, Jade Far Knight was a true demon and had more treasures. Secondly, Jade Far Knight's body was much bigger, killing him would take more time. Ha! Paragon Jadifa furiously roared, which universe overlord is so shameless to be able to kill Paragon's hand so easily? It shouldn't be an ordinary universe overlord. Which one of your human race is it? Cheyenne She Palace Leader? Ancestral Tree Knight? Star Hell Demon Lord? Double quote. Any one of the three of you possess great reputations. I respect the three of you. However, using Luo Feng as bait to attract the foreign races to slaughter us, that's not honorable at all. Jade Far Knight's voice resounded throughout the land, resounding within Luo Feng's ears. This made him smile. Xian Shi Palace Leader, Ancestral Tree Knight, Star Hell Demon Lord. Interesting. The human race had many universe tyrants. However, as humans were naturally normal life forms, many of them were normal, similar to Jade Far Knight and Key Blood Palace Leader. Like the Ancestral Tree Knight, Star Hell Demon Lord and Xian Shi Palace Leader, these three had extremely special encounters and had the ability to create clones. Under normal circumstances, a power should have about the same number of Universe Lords and Universe Lords. The human race had over 10 Universe Lords, but only 3 of them. This was because humanity's foundations were weak. Like the ancestral god sect that gathered large amounts of special life forms, they actually had more of the Universe Lords. Like the Northern Border Alliance with many races, they had many of the Universe Lords too. In the distance, the 6 teams of foreign race warriors in mid-air were discussing quietly, feeling indignant. That's too much. They've really lowered their status. The human race is the pinnacle race. No matter which one of those 3 hid in Luo Feng's world ring, it's simply too shameless. They had already made a name for themselves. If other venerables saw them, they would have avoided them long ago. They did not dare to disturb them at all. But I didn't expect them to play this trick. Although the 6 teams of foreign race venerables were furious, they were all far away and could escape as soon as they saw that the situation was not good. Venerable Ancestral Tree. Star Hell Devil Master? The giant silver wolf Paragon Jadifa was still shouting loudly. Heaven Shi Palace Master? It seemed like he was trying to provoke that existence to come out so that he could figure out who it was. Jade Far Knight, the 3 aren't here. Luo Feng stood on the golden wave and smiled. Just me. HMPH, just you alone. The giant silver wolf sneered. The other 15 venerables also shook their heads. They had all heard the screams of mutated beasts. Clearly, it was a top universe overlord that could fight in beast form. Which overlord of the universe is it? Show yourself, the giant silver wolf shouted again. Hua hua hua. The golden waves disappeared in an instant. Luo Feng's silver wings and silver armor, with a blade on his back, he laughed loudly. Jade Far Knight, I've said before, just me. HMPH, no matter which one of you 3 has been famous for a long time. HMPH, to do such a thing, you're indeed a cunning human. Jade Far Knight sneered. Jade Far Knight, are you looking for death? Luo Feng roared fiercely. Su. He immediately became a silver light rushing towards Jade Far Knight, scaring him so much that he roared softly and immediately turned to flee. He was very clear that he had to maintain a sufficient distance from this human Luo Feng. Otherwise, Luo Feng would be able to instantly unleash that domain treasure. When that happened, he would be in danger. His strength was close to Zhong's Han Knights. Quickly leave. Go. Jade Far Knight turned and fled. The other foreign race venerables naturally followed and swiftly flew in all directions. Luo Feng quickly slowed down and floated in mid-air, looking around at the fleeing foreign race knights, laughing softly. I originally wanted to have a good chat with all of you up close, but the distance is too far and it's troublesome to chat. However, since you all aren't interested, I'll leave. Su. He became a silver beam and tore through the skies, not chasing any other foreign race. HMPH. Jade Far Knight in the distance turned his head to look at the light beam and roared, relying on the fact that he's accompanied by an elite universe overlord, he dares to be so arrogant. If he was alone on this planet, he would have been killed long ago and his treasures would have been taken. Luo Feng slaughtering the 13 foreign race venerables had actually caused quite a commotion. After all, even if a normal treasure were to appear on the planet, the death of 1 or 2 venerables would be enough. Only when a high-level treasure or even a pinnacle treasure were to appear would there be a large-scale fall of absolute warriors. Thorn Ring Alliance, within a majestic palace in space. Greetings Universe Lord. Ji-Ki Knight stood respectfully within the palace. Ji-Ki. A cold voice resounded from within the palace. You reported that 13 venerables were instantly killed? Yes. Honorable Ji-Ki said respectfully, these 13 universe supremacies include my Thorn Ring Alliance, Bug Race Alliance, Northern Border Alliance, Demon Race Alliance and 9 Territories Alliance. One of them is a universe overlord from the Bug Clan Alliance, Zhongzhan Knight. Of the 13, only I have the talent to create clones, hence I immediately reported it. I'm afraid the other parties aren't clear on the details yet. Supremacy Ji-Ki was also one of those who were killed. Who did it? Star Hell Demon Lord? Xian Shi Palace Leader? Ancestral Tree? The cold voice resounded. Universe Lord, the one who did it was a black beast. It was extremely terrifying. It should be a warrior that trained in the Gold Beast God Path. Ji-Ki Knight said respectfully, and this beast's attainment in the Gold Beast God Path is extremely high. I feel that it should be extremely close to the Beast God level. I was instantly killed. Beast God Path. Could it be the Star Hell Demon Lord? But the Star Hell Demon Lord doesn't walk the Gold Beast God Path. The cold voice resounded doubtfully. I'm very sure it was a black beast. His attacks are mysterious and unfathomable. At the very least, his realm far exceeds mine. Ji-Ki Knight said respectfully. You think that black beast could kill Zhongzhan Knight? The cold voice resounded. Yes, definitely. Ji-Ki nodded. Even if Zhongzhan Knight wanted to kill me, I wouldn't be completely defenseless. But in front of that black beast, I was completely defenseless. I was killed in one move. And I feel that the beast didn't even use its full strength. If it was against Zhongzhan Knight, it should be able to kill him. That's weird, since when did the human race have such a beast? The cold voice resounded doubtfully. The figure in the palace slowly walked down. This was a female master of the universe. She was clad in dark purple armor and had hundreds of needle-like sharp horns on her head. Her face was devilish and extremely seductive, but her entire body naturally exuded waves of cold air that made even Honorable Ji-Ki shudder. This universe lord was the Stabbing Heart leader of the Stabbing Heart Alliance. Her position was equivalent to the Primal Chaos City leader in the Great Alliance. That's weird. The Stabbing Heart leader said softly. According to what you said, it wasn't any of the 3. Could it be Luo Feng himself who trained in the Gold Beast God Path? That can't be right. Luo Feng is still very weak. Even if this Luo Feng became a universe knight, his comprehension of the laws is still very low. He's probably around the 4th or 5th level of the Beast God Path. With such a low comprehension, he can't even create the ultimate techniques of the universe lords. It's not to the extent that even you find it unfathomable. Ji-Ki Knight nodded. It's definitely not that Luo Feng. No matter whether he became a universe knight or not, he doesn't have such comprehension of the laws. There's no news of him appearing to receive the Beast God Path from Bohemia Island either. The Stabbing Heart leader frowned. Unless, the Primal Chaos City leader arranged for some absolute warrior to protect his disciple? The human race still has a hidden absolute warrior? Ji-Ki Knight said softly. The Stabbing Heart leader glanced at him. No, even though the human race only has 3 pinnacle universe lords, the Great Alliance has more than that. Ji-Ki Knight was shocked. Yes. The Great Alliance was an alliance of many races with the human race as the core. There were still many strong warriors from other races. Universe Lord, That Pinnacle Universe Lord actually used this method to massacre us. Should we do anything about it? G-Key Knight couldn't help but ask. Pinnacle Universe Lords are already very close to the Universe Lord level. Dealing with us is a massacre. How should we do anything about it? The Stabbing Heart leader laughed softly. It's not them who massacred you. It's you who attacked them out of greed and got slaughtered. If a Universe Lord or an Pinnacle Universe Lord purposely massacred groups of warriors, it would incur public anger. However, if you provoke them first, then nobody can say anything. Double quote. The news spread extremely quickly. However, the large powers didn't treat it as anything important. To them, it was just a group of warriors from other races walking into a trap out of greed. They wouldn't say anything even if they were killed. And other than the Stabbing Ring Alliance, the other powers didn't even know what the Pinnacle Universe Lord looked like or what he trained in. After all, the resurrection of the advanced level warriors would usually be gathered and distributed to a Universe Lord. Only when the Universe Lord had the time would he act. Virtual Universe, Hongmeng City's highest authority center, Hongmeng Palace. Hahaha, interesting. It's quite interesting. They wanted to kill that Luo Feng, yet they were all killed. If the other powers knew about this, they wouldn't say anything. Double quote. Primal Chaos City leader, it must have been arranged by you. Without your arrangements, why would that Pinnacle Universe Lord be willing to stay in Luo Feng's world ring? Tell me, when Luo Feng entered the Primal Star, just which Universe Lord was hidden in his world ring? We thought about it, but we couldn't confirm who it was. Double quote. A total of 6 leaders sat on their thrones, laughing and chatting. The Primal Chaos City leader listened and maintained his smile. Actually, he was puzzled too. He didn't know either. Don't tell me Luo Feng made friends with some Pinnacle Universe Lord. The Primal Chaos City leader thought. Chapter 1090 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng let out a look of anticipation when he heard this. The ancestor had told him before that the ancestor's wager was a treasure set, and his teacher's wager was a treasure. The moment the ancestor lost, then the ancestor would give the set to him. This was definitely a huge fortune. Since it could be used as a wager, it was obvious that this set was worth the same as a treasure. Calamity Armor was a treasure of the Pinnacle. Sword River Net was a top-level domain treasure, and its attacks were extremely strong, comparable to the Calamity Armor. However, just its appearance, it had caused such a huge commotion when it was separated. Just like how the Flame Emperor couldn't bear to give the armor to Luo Feng back then, this all meant that treasures like the armor and Sword River Net were extremely valuable. Enough to make the Flame Emperor and the Primal Chaos City leader envious. Probably only the strongest of the universe like the Ancestor and Mountain Traveler would have the guts to use it as a wager. You are one of the 9 great powers of the universe, the Ancestor of the Space Beast Alliance, you won't be stingy, right? Mountain Traveler mocked, I'm still waiting for that treasure set of yours. The Ancestor glanced at Mountain Traveler. His heart ached. Even a being like the Ancestor felt his heart ache. Back then he was extremely confident of winning that treasure, he didn't expect to lose in the end. A loss is a loss. The Ancestor said, I can still afford to lose this treasure set. According to our agreement back then, this set should be given to Luo Feng, right? Mountain Traveler nodded and smiled, right, give it to my disciple. The Ancestor turned to look at Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Ancestor. Luo Feng said respectfully, he didn't think defeating the Ancestor once was something to be proud of. After all, that was just a wager. With the Ancestor's true power, just his words alone were enough to render Luo Feng helpless. If he was willing to pay the price, he could even kill a Universe Lord. Look. The primogenitor pointed at the sky, and a black shadow of a beast suddenly appeared in the distance. Luo Feng looked carefully. It was a completely black beast. It had 4 powerful claws, sharp fangs that reached the sky, and a horn on its head. The layers of armor on its body seemed to have an endless amount of magic, causing Luo Feng to be completely captivated with just one look. This was simply beautiful to the point of being shocking. The black beast was around 100 meters long and it landed right in front of Luo Feng. Only then did Luo Feng realize that it was a dead object and not a living being. This is the ultimate treasure set. I call it the Beast God Armor. Primogenitor walked over and caressed the leg of the huge beast. Ha ha ha, Mountain Traveler was delighted to see this and laughed. The ancestor glanced at him and turned to look at Luo Feng. Your teacher's pride makes sense. Back then, because of this set of treasures, the few sides were in a chaotic battle. Your teacher was very cunning, sneak attacking and immediately escaping. I had to pay a great price to defeat Ezekiel to finally obtain this set of supreme treasures. Double quote. Luo Feng was a bit excited as he listened. The origin of the treasure was extraordinary. It was as if they had experienced a battle between the strongest people in the universe. This set of treasures is made up of a total of 526 treasures. They are split into 521 normal treasures, 4 high-level treasures and 1 top-level treasure. The ancestor explained, like the fangs and scales, they can all be removed and used individually. Only when they are combined will they truly become one body. Their power is overwhelming. Double quote. Luo Feng was shocked. 526 treasures made up of one set of treasures. It was said that the primal Chaos City leader's 1,000 treasure river was made up of 1,000 treasures, and Luo Feng's wasn't any different. Also, within the 526 treasures, there was even a top-level treasure. Once it's broken down, this horn will become a top-level treasure. And once it's combined with the power of the hundreds of treasures, its power will explode. The ancestor exclaimed, wearing the set on the body, every part of the body can be used to attack. It's definitely the most suitable for the Universe Lord to train in the Beast God path. Double quote. I named it the Beast God Armor. Originally I wanted to give it to one of the Universe Lords in the Space Beast Alliance that I had high hopes for. The primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. Now, it's yours. Luo Feng felt his heart racing. Beast God Armor. Thank you, ancestor. Luo Feng said respectfully. The ancestor smiled and nodded. Simultaneously, he waved his hand and the black beast silhouette flew towards Luo Feng. A golden horned beast appeared on Luo Feng's shoulder. At this time, the golden horned beast had long placed the Calamity Armor, killing Wu Wings and Nine River within his world ring. Just like that, it flew over. Simultaneously, its god energy swiftly wrapped around the black beast silhouette and its life imprint swiftly imprinted on it. Rumble. The black beast silhouette immediately disintegrated. The hundreds of treasures swiftly surrounded the golden horned beast, completely infusing into every part of the golden horned beast's body. The golden horned beast immediately became a completely black beast. Every inch of its scales were like blades. Even its fangs expanded fiercely. The 5 horns on its head had now become 6. The middle horn was the longest, about half a meter long. At this time, the golden horned beast was maintaining a 1 meter long miniature god body. It's too beautiful. Luo Feng's consciousness cheered. Claws, tail, god body, horns. Treasures were everywhere. It was indeed the most suitable treasure for the Beast God path. Moreover, the Beast God's armor also possessed a defensive ability. Naturally, since it was mainly an offensive treasure, its defensive ability was slightly weaker. It was roughly comparable to a normal top-level defensive treasure. This Beast God armor's original name is Northern Rock? Luo Feng was curious. The moment the life imprint was imprinted, the Beast God armor transmitted an ancient message and learned of its name. What a weird name. Many treasures had names, such as Silver Dragon Phantom Ship, golden trembling dragon king armor, and so on. The only thing was that the user would usually name it himself. Like the ancient boat Milky Way, golden armor etc. However, this beast god armor's original name was very weird. It was called Northern Rock. No matter what the original name is, this beast god armor is indeed the most suitable for the golden horned beast. Awesome. Howl! The golden horned beast let out an excited roar. The ancestor nodded satisfactorily. Luo Feng, come here. Mounting passenger shouted. Luo Feng obediently walked over. Mounting passenger brought Luo Feng to one side and immediately changed the universe laws around him. If the ancestor wanted to listen, he could use the universe energies to suppress it. However, the ancestor didn't have to do that. Obviously, the mountain passenger had some things he wanted to talk to his disciple about. Teacher. Luo Feng followed beside him. To be able to succeed in a short 180 million years, not bad. Mountain passenger nodded. You're stronger than your second senior. Luo Feng listened obediently. Back then I casually made the star map for you. It probably won't be of much help to you now. Mountain passenger said, however, it's not a big deal. Even though you're only at the pinnacle of undying, your attainments in the technique path are extremely high. Studying the origin laws from a high vantage point, you'll be able to break through to become a universe knight in a short amount of time. Even if stepping into the gate of a universe knight slightly affects you, 1,000 years is enough. Luo Feng nodded. He was very confident too. Studying the technique path made Luo Feng feel how easy the origin laws were back then. It was too easy and too obvious. However, due to the bet, Luo Feng didn't study it. When you step into the universe night, even though you can only use the star pagoda, you'll be able to fully activate it. Mountain passenger said, when that time comes, with the star pagoda, this star map will be useless. Luo Feng nodded. He couldn't help but ask, Teacher, is the fifth black metal board of the 9 calamities manual still training? The third black metal board sent itself into the ice prison. The fourth black metal board sent itself into the beast god world. Nope. Mountain passenger glanced at Luo Feng and smiled. If you could guess my methods, would I still be your teacher? Luo Feng was shocked. In terms of training, the beast god world has given you enough training. 180 million years you'll be able to create the universe lord's ultimate technique. With the technique path and origin laws, it's enough to verify each other. Mountain passenger said. Then the fifth black metal board. Luo Feng really wanted to get the fifth black metal board immediately. You'll know when the time comes. Mountain passenger said. Luo Feng was helpless. Continue to work hard. Mountain passenger looked satisfactorily at Luo Feng. You're considered extremely strong now. Wait for the day you can use the star pagoda. Then no one in the universe can underestimate you. However, I hope you'll be even stronger. Yes. Luo Feng was looking forward to it too. In these 180 million years, he had been reborn. He was no longer the weak fighter from before, who could only rely on his divine body to burn and exhaust his enemies, slowly exhausting them to death. Exhausting an opponent to death could only be done in a dangerous place, because there was no way to summon the strongest from one's race. However, in Primal Star or other places, one could ask for help from other warriors in times of danger. After all, the absolute warriors, every one of them was important. Star Ancestor. Mountain passenger turned and said, his voice resounding, allowing the distant ancestor to hear, thank you for these few years. Now that you've reached my requirements, I'll bring him away. Don't be in a rush to leave, wait. The ancestor's body flashed and appeared beside him. Mountain passenger looked at the ancestor. Anything else? It has nothing to do with you. I have something to discuss with Luo Feng. The ancestor looked at Luo Feng. He's my disciple, how could it have nothing to do with me? Luo Feng, from what I see, You should focus on staying with humanity, Mountain Passenger said and laughed loudly. Luo Feng, since this star ancestor has something to discuss with you, you should accompany him for a chat. I'll wait for you here, we'll return to the actual universe together. Double quote. Yes, teacher. Luo Feng replied. Right. It's time to return to the actual universe. Mountain Passenger immediately walked into the distance. Luo Feng walked towards the ancestor and bowed respectfully. Ancestor. Do you have any thoughts of leaving the human race? The ancestor looked at Luo Feng and asked.